Thanks so much for joining me here today as I once again get to ramble off about one of my favorite subject, comic books. I love comic books. I love talking about comic books. My name is Jose. You can follow me on Instagram at jvelez622, on Twitter at artofjvelez, and on Pinterest is at josev2163. I post my art in all of those. And in Pinterest, I also post a lot of, I pin a lot of some of my favorite comic book artists' artwork. And I must say, my Art Adams board looks pretty good. I've got a lot of stuff. So today we're going to be looking at Superman for All Seasons by Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale. I thought the series was really, really, really good. Jeph Loeb is a good, a very good writer, and Tim Sale, I think, is an excellent illustrator. Jeph Loeb does he does a lot of character work, and there are a lot of words in here, but hopefully I can guide you through them. So I love these Tim Sale's ink washes that he did here. So this is a retelling of Superman's origin, kind of from different perspectives. So a little bit different. So it's called Superman for All Seasons because each one takes place over a season. So we're going to start out with the spring. A great cover. So Tim Sale mostly is known for dark, and he decided that for Superman he didn't want that. So Superman is nice and bright. So this is done in the point of view of Jonathan Kent, Superman's dad. So all everything you see here is about is from his dad saying things. So start off with Clark doing some of his chores. Tim Sale really did. I mean, it's a great job. Tim Sale is just the penciler inker. The colors are actually done by who was it? Bjorn Hansen. So here's the dad's hitting or tilling the land. He hits this rock. He's trying to get this rock here. He's recounting how they found baby Clark and how he's kind of changing now, and he's trying to get that rock. I was gonna say Superman, but Clark offers to help. The dad's like, "Oh, you're gonna need something leverage," thinking he would just use the thing, but he just picks it up. So the dad just doesn't know how to kind of handle the powers that young Clark and Lana is with. They're having supper, and this is Lana's aunt, and you can see Superman feeding the dog, and I can relate to that because I'm always told I feed my dogs too from the table. Always told not to do that. So the aunt's waiting, and she's all flustered. She's like, these kids. So lovely watercolor. I believe this is he watercolored this. This is from 1998. Computer coloring was already done, but I do think because of these kind of imperfections that you can see here, that I think it was watercolor. And if you can see, there's watercolor paper. So I believe it was done in watercolor. And so Martha's asking Jonathan if he had a good conversation with Clark, and says, what's been going on. He just says that he's changing and he's different. meaning the superpowers. And he just didn't think that things would be changing quite like this. That these powers, they're just getting stronger and stronger. But, you know, they hope that that they raised him right. And she asks if he thinks he can hear him, and he's like, oh, he's supposed to be asleep, and his room's all the way. But of course, he has super hearing. So I love him with the dog. I truly, truly, truly do. So the next day, he's pondering all that stuff. And look how bright this is. If you look at Tim Sale and you look at his work in Batman, you definitely know that it's a lot of blacks here. This looks so bright. And I think we're gonna cover a lot of Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale's stuff. So they're just kind of, this is just kind of filler here. And he's gonna go get a haircut. And suddenly he discovers he has X-ray vision. And he goes to cut his hair, and the scissor breaks, and he just runs away. And he just says, well, they don't make scissors like they used to. And this is an ode to the movie as he's running from the train and beats it. So that's from the original movie. And Martha asks Jonathan to go look at him. He's just out there. And she says, be gentle. He just says, yep. And Clark says that he's scared. You can't see it, but you can see here he kind of holds, he's just leaning into him, and then they hug. So. And then a little bit later, there's a tornado coming. And he's letting the animals out of the barn, because if he hits the tornadoes, at least the animals have a chance to get out. Great stuff. I love the minimalist. Just let the colorist pick it up and just do enough that you can tell. And tornado picks him up, but he kind of sees that he can fly. Goes to save one of the owner of the gas station. He gets him. I don't think these things blow up quite like that, but it's comic books, as I always say. We don't overthink comic books. And he saves the man, and then he sees all this destruction, and races home. Everyone's okay, even the puppy. And so I do enjoy how tight as a family they are, and I like how Tim Sale illustrates with that dog. So, and he says, man, he should have done more, and his dad ponders on that. They know they raised him right. And then he talks with the minister and just says, what if someone knows that they can do more? What should they do? So, that kind of thing. And so he says, we all do what we can do, essentially. So, graduate from high school, and, they have a get-together. Superman's in love with Lana Lang. She knows his secret, and he takes her for a fly, and he basically, I'm leaving. It was kind of a one last thing. He says he'll come back, but he has to leave. So, because he has to help. And so, he asks his dad if he doesn't get tired of looking at that, and his dad says, nope, I never have, and I never will. Beautiful, just amazing work here. And like I said, I don't believe this is digitally. I think this is hand-painted, watercolored. So, now we're in Metropolis. Perry White here, doing, Perry White stuff. And he was going to ask if she had plans, but she says, I have plans with Lex because he makes a good story. So there's LexCorp. She gets out of his limousine, asks for a nightcap. And she says, we had a lovely evening. He says it's a butt, and then whoosh. And she has an early deadline, and he has to catch his hat. And here we're going to be introduced. This little kid is chasing the kitty. He falls. Superman grabs him. Says, cool costume. He says, thanks. My mom made it for me. I thought this was really sweet. And this introduction to Superman is very cool. Again, no hardly any blacks. Just some in his trunks. That's it. I love this version of Superman too. I do like the Superman with the red trunks. So I'm glad that they're back because they really help him like be Superman. I think without the trunks, something was heavily lacking. So I'm glad that they brought him back. I also like the bigness. It reminds me a lot of Ed McGuinness when he was drawing. Sorry, this is before Ed McGuinness because this is Ed McGuinness took over in thing in 0203. So a preview of that, and then Lex sees Superman fly out. He just says it's going to be a long, hot summer, which is going to take us to our next part, summer. Another great cover. And so, this one is done in the point of view of Lois Lane. So I think we're only going to do this issue and then just do the next two in another video. Because I don't like to make these too long. I know that people have things to do, and sometimes I think long videos aren't the most, for people to go into. So I'll try to keep this one. Basically, nothing's going on. She's just narrating. Right now, all we're doing is looking through, seeing Superman do heroic things and enjoying Tim Sale's panels and colors and art. Well, Tim Sale obviously didn't do the colors, but just right now it's just kind of Lois Lane, just like the other one, just adding some perspective to things. Very cool panel. Lovely. So Superman's just doing heroic things, like I said. And he's been in Metropolis for a few years now, so some time has passed. And they're interrupting a board meeting here. Luthor dismisses everyone. And Superman's going to this submarine here. And here we have a stowaway, which we all know is Lois Lane. And Luthor arrives at the airbase, and this guy's like, this is a restricted area, sir, but I don't think anybody's going to mind if you come in. All right. So, he obviously doesn't like Superman. And Superman's bringing in this submarine, cracks it open, and they were going to detonate some nuclear bombs to hit Metropolis. And love this here. And grabs Lois, and he's going to show him, see if he's faster than a speeding bullet, if he tries anything. And Luthor says, I can handle this. I can negotiate with anyone, even terrorists, or doesn't even get to finish it. And Superman grabs it and destroys the gun. Lois then gets away. Lovely. And Luther offers to drop her off, but she's going to go with Superman instead. And Superman just kind of ignores him. I do like this. I like Superman not, you know, that he can take Luther. He's not scared of him when everybody else is. So she says here that nobody speaks to Luther the way you do, and he says it's about time somebody did. And then he leaves. Of course, here comes Kent from the supply room. So, asks how she got into the submarine, and she says it's a secret. So, he heads to his apartment, and it's rather empty and bare. And he's just kind of thinking. This is, if you remember from the previous issue, same pose, sitting in bed. And goes home to see his parents. Beautiful, beautiful, absolutely beautiful work. 2-page spread here is just amazing. And the dog's getting older, but the dog's still around. Says that as long as there's chickens to chase, the dog's fine and happy. And he just mentions how lonely he is in Metropolis. And he's going to go visit Lana, but it's the minister instead. Her aunt passed away, and Lana's been gone shortly after Superman left. And he's unfortunately hasn't seen her in years, and he says how proud they are. They're the only place in Kansas that gets the Daily Planet, and he's a bit of a celebrity because nobody in there has ever done what he does. So, and Pete's still here. Can't believe he came back. The gang's still there, and so he asks if Pete admires Luther, and Clark kind of just he puts on his pant legs like everybody else, and just says how Smallville feels like home. So we're now back in Metropolis. Here's a big fire. Luthor's soldiers, I guess, or whatever, are in and helping people. Tells Superman to get away. Superman pushes him aside and says he doesn't have time for this. And there's a lady that he helped save, or that needed saving, that was still trapped in there. Superman goes in and helps her, and he rushes her out, and he flies away. Now he's going to put up the fire. And basically, he creates a vortex, and the fire just kind of goes with him. And takes it into the water. And says she almost died from all their carelessness. And if something ever happens, he'll hold Luther personally responsible. And Luther sees this. Mercy asks if he wants her to get her. He says, nope, this needs a personal touch. And he says, I can't believe, he has to walk up the stairs because there's no elevator. I love the things you do for this city. And then she has a big crush on Superman and says, then maybe we can help Superman in ways you've only dreamed of. And so we're going to go ahead and stop it here. We're about at 20 minutes here. So we will pick up with the last two issues next time. So thanks for listening. Goodbye.